Hello, Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we discuss about security rules in firewall. Based on security zone, we need to apply the security rule based on production requirement. So if we consider this our demo lab, here three zone is here. Number one, this is DMG zone. DMG zone, there is multiple server is connected. It's maybe with private IP or it's maybe with public IP. This is the LAN or inside zone. This is the LAN zone, and this is the outside zone. That means zone one. So and this is the management interface. So we need a policy to allow traffic or when traffic travel from one zone to another zone. It's maybe LAN to DMG, it's maybe LAN to WAN, it's maybe DMG to LAN or LAN to DMG. Okay, so today we discuss how to create security policy rule or security rule to allow or deny the traffic when traffic moving from one zone to another zone or in a zone. Okay, so let's start. Security rule types. There are three types of rule in for Palo Alto devices. Number one is intra, another one is inter, last one is universal. So let's see now. In this is the password. And this is our last lab where inter-VLAN routing is already done, and IP basic IP configuration has already done. Just I show you for more clarity. After showing the basic configuration, then we'll move to the our today's section, that is how to create rules. Right. It's a little bit slow. One, six, I'm getting pain. Okay. So this is the dashboard. First, we go to the device section. Our management IP address is assigned here, and network portion. Go to interfaces. See here, our one interface is Ethernet 1x1, and the IP address is 209.165.1.0. This is a layer 3 interface. So Check this one, Ethernet 1/3. Interface type is layer 3, and they're in security zone 1, and virtual router is default. And IPv4 address here assigned ISP1-1. ISP1-1, and this IP address is statically configured. Okay. And the advanced section, we are just attaching interface management to allow the management traffic like HTTP, HTTPS, or SSH. So this is the basic configuration for layer 3 interface. And the IP address is here ISP1-1. This name is created in object section ISP1-1, and IP address is this one 209.165.1.2/30. This is our one IP address. Okay, that's done. Then back to network section, and our LAN side, there is two VLAN, VLAN 101 and VLAN 102. So in LAN side, the firewall or Palo Alto interface is Ethernet 1/2. There is two sub interfaces for two VLAN. One sub interface is 101, and the sub interface ID and the VLAN number and the security zone and the default router. Default router is default, and security zone is, this is the LAN zone. And IPv4 address is statically configured, and their name is VLAN 101. So VLAN 101, go to the object section and see here VLAN 101 means the IP address is 172.168.101.1. This is the VLAN 101 subnet gateway. Okay. Then go to the network section again, then check the another sub interface for VLAN 102. Say 102. This is sub interface ID. This is the VLAN number, and virtual router and security zone is same as 101, and IPv4 address is VLAN 102. This is the name, and the advanced section, your management traffic is allowed there. So go to the VLAN 102, go to the object section. See here VLAN 102 IP address is 102.1/24. Okay. So this is the very basic configuration we have done in last classes. So another interface, today we connect another interfaces that is connected with the DMZ zone. The interface is Ethernet 1/3. So Ethernet 1/3, there is no multiple VLAN. This is the single VLAN or single subnet. We're not creating any VLAN here. Just the server will communicate with the gateway with the direct interface. So direct interface is Ethernet 1/3. So select the interface Ethernet 1/3. The interface should be in layer 3, should be layer 3, and virtual router is default, and security zone will be the DMZ. So IPv4 static, add the address DMZ IP, and advanced section management interface will be the interface management. Then click OK. This is the layer 3 interface configuration. And see here, objects are already created. DMZ zone IP is 100.1/24. This is the IP subnet. So all IP address configuration done. Yeah, just comment this one. We have done the basic configuration, which is already discussed in last classes. So there is 3 zone. So we need policy to allow one zone traffic to another zone. Close. Here zone is LAN 1 and DMG and respective interface. Okay. And no interface in virtual world. Go to the virtual routers. Virtual routers, three LAN, DMZ, and WAN, all are connected interface. So if I go from LAN or DMZ to internet, that means server one, we need a default route. So go to the virtual router, then click the default section, static route. See here, the default route already created. Default route already created with the IPSLA. That also discussed in last classes. Okay, it is done. Now we go to the policy section. Security. See here in policy section, and there is no user defined policy. This two policy is the system defined, or by default this policy is here by default. So number one policy is intra-zone default. Intra-zone default. Intra-zone means consider VLAN 101 and VLAN 102. Both are in LAN zone. If any traffic coming from VLAN 101 to 101 or VLAN 101 to VLAN 102, that will be automatically permitted. That is called the intrazone. That means intrazone traffic will be automatically permitted. There is no any extra policy to permit the traffic when traffic moving in a zone. Okay. And second policy is interzone default. Interzone means uh, traffic is coming from one zone and moving towards to another zone. Like traffic is coming in from the LAN zone and traffic will be forward to DMG or WAN zone. So you need policy to allow those traffic. And the interzone default, the default action is deny. Default action is deny. That's why interzone traffic will not automatically permitted. Only intrazone traffic will be automatically permitted. Okay. So if I set a security policy for allow
Where
traffic from,
I have a
yes,
question. Intrazone
yes,
means two device in a same zone.
to
Two
interface
device,
in a same zone, not
okay.
device,
Two
to
interface in a
interface
same zone can communicate
same
with
zone,
each other.
right?
That's the intrazone.
That is the intrazone,
Okay.
like
And
VLAN 101, VLAN 102, both are in LAN
yes,
zone. They will
yes, yes.
communicate
Communicate by default. It's allowed.
by default, by default.
Okay.
Okay,
Got it. Okay. Got it.
okay. You can see also, just check this one. So this is the PC one. Show IP interface break. 101. This is also 101. And PC3, 102. That is 102 VLAN. And PC4, So IP interface brief 102. So there is two VLAN exist. If I send packet from one VLAN to another VLAN, that will work. Yes, that is working because two VLAN in same zone. The zone is LAN. Clear? So go to interfaces.
Yes, sir.
See here, VLAN 101, 102. Go to the zone section. See here, security zone, LAN, LAN. Both are in same zone.
Same thing.
That's why traffic permitted. Okay, then go to the policy. So these two are the default policy. We need to add one policy to allow traffic from LAN zone to WAN zone. Okay. If I send any packet from PC1 to server 1, PC1 to server 1, show IP interface read. That is IP is 1.1. Then send packet from PC1, that will be blocked. That will be denied. There is static routing is here. That means the default route is here. You can translate this address. You can translate this address because this is the private block and this is the public block. We need net policy. If I create the net policy for checking, just add simple, just port address translation. Name is LAN to WAN pet. And original packet is source zone is LAN, destination zone is WAN, source any, destination any, translate packet. This type is paired, dynamic IP endpoint. This is called the paired. I just use the interface address and one interface is Ethernet 1 by 1, and the interface 1 by 1 IP address is this one, and the OK. So net policy created. Commit the configuration. This box have static route towards the ISP and done the NAT configuration. So traffic should be passed from PC1 to server 1. But this will not basically work because of security policy. So if I send packet again to check without any security policy, this traffic is permitted or not. This traffic is denied because there is no security policy. That's why traffic is denied. Traffic is coming from LAN and going to WAN. This is different zone. This is different zone and this traffic will match this policy, interzone default, interzone default, and default action is the delay. That's why we are not getting server 1 from PC1. So need some policy. So, okay, add a policy for checking. This is the general section. General section, we need a name like LAN WAN security and role type. Role type is three role types is here, and Number one is universal, that means the default rule type. And another one is intrazone, and another is interzone. So if you make any security policy rule, you can define intrazone, rule type intrazone. Intrazone means in a zone, if you set any rules, then you can set the intrazone. And another one is interzone. If one zone, like zone A, want to communicate with zone B, you can set the rule type is interzone. If you want to not mention the intrazone or interzone, you can take it default the universal. You can take it default the universal or default. And you mention the source and destination zone. Which will be the source zone, which will be the destination zone. So say here the security rule types. Security rule types. So security rule types is three types of security rules. Three types of this is intra-zone security policy that is already configured in Palo Alto boxes, intra-zone policy. And this is the inter-zone policy that is also applied by default. And this policy is read-only. You can't modify this one. You can't modify this one. This policy is read-only. Okay. So see here the three types of security policy: intra-zone, inter-zone, and last one is universal. Last one is universal. So what is this intrazone? Default rule. There is a default rule displayed at the bottom of the security rule base. See here, this is the default rule, and this is already here. Okay. A security policy rule allowing traffic within the same zone. Yes. Intrazone rule types apply to all massive traffic within the specified source zone. A destination zone cannot be specified for interzone policy. Only in a zone, it will work. If traffic want to move one zone to another zone, this rule type will not work. So this is the default example of interzone rule type. Another is inter. Default rule already created here, and that would be default deny. So in intrazone, traffic logging is not enabled by default. And interzone traffic logging is not enabled by default. However, best practice is to log the traffic. If you make any policy, so you should enable the traffic logging for better understanding. Okay. So last one is the universal. Exist above the intrazone and the interzone security policy. That would be the user defined policy. You have to make or you have to create the policy based on production requirement. By default, all traffic destined between two zones, regardless of whether it is from the same zone or different zone, universal rule types apply to all massing interzone or intrazone traffic in the specified source and destination zones. So most of the time, we'll use the rule type is universal, because universal have both options. No need to specify, no need to consider um, is this intra or is this inter. So in universal, you will get both. So for universal, traffic logging is enabled by default. So this is the rule type of
So where
Palo Alto. Yes.
we configure security policy like DMZ to MZ, MZ to
Mhm.
DMZ, DMZ to
Mm.
internet, internet to DMZ. This
Mm.
type of policy falls under Universal policy. Yeah, my bad.
Universal. Exactly. Universal. Universal.
Okay.
So LAN to WAN security rule type is universal or default. You can set your description if you want. If you want, you can set your description. So source, what will be the source? So I want to send traffic from LAN to WAN. So source interface will be the LAN. That means LAN zone, and you can specify the source address. You can specify the specific source address. Like you can specify VLAN 101 network or subnet, or VLAN 102 subnet, or default is any address will be the source address. So I make it simple. Select the any option and go to the destination. Destination, select the destination zone is 1, and you also select the destination address here if you want. Okay, then go to the application section. In application section, all application by default allowed. So you can specify which application you want to allow. So in application, there is multiple category, multiple services. Okay, multiple category and multiple services. This is the total application, or you can specify. So for layer, I select here any application, services, application default, or you can add the services. In services section, you want like service section, you can specify service means like you want to allow the HTTP traffic or HTTPS traffic and DNS traffic, and other traffic will be blocked. You can specify with the service. Okay, this is the service section. I make it default, and any URL also you can filter your URL. Just set the Palo Alto default category. This is the default category, like a phishing site, like peer-to-peer site, like news site, like music site. Okay, you can specify, and you can take the action.
So these are the
Um,
default category of Palo Alto.
yes, yes,
We
this is
can
the
we
default.
can make custom rules set
Right,
by clicking add option.
right. In production, good practice or best practice is you have just create a rule, deny everything. You just create a rule, deny everything. See here, Palo Alto create
Deny
the rule,
everything and just
infactor.
allow whatever the service are required.
You need, or you require. See here, first deny all, then you add or you allow who is you need. That will be the specific based on your production. Okay, so I just showing every option. So the name is source zone is LAN. The destination zone is WAN, and application you can specify, service and URL you can specify, and go to the allow. That means actions. The default action is here allow. You can also get multiple action. Okay, deny, drop, reset server, reset both client and server. So today we just taking the action is allow, log setting, log at session end, log at session start. Default log at session end is enabled. You can also log at session start if you need. Okay. Log forwarding. This firewall generating log. You can send this log to your log server. You can send your log to log server. So you can specify which severity level you want to send the log server. So it's the additional option. And you can also make schedule. You can also make schedule. Profile type, this that will be for group. That means group of user. You can specify also user. If in this Palo Alto is integrated with Active Directory server or user AAA server, you can also add this one. You can specify the user. Okay. So this all about the security policy rule individual tab. So just send the OK button and your user defined rule is created here and sequence is this sequence is one. If you create another role, this sequence will be one and old one will be the two and this will increase. This default to policy all time will be the bottom of the line. Okay. And your policy will be execute top to bottom. Top role will be execute first, then second, then third, up to last. Okay, so set now. So sending packet again from PC1. Um, this packet is ISMP packet. Not getting. Is there any missing? Missing anything? Default route net. We have done all. Let's check. Ping self IP. Then checking the gateway IP.
Also provided.
Then send the this is not working. So checking the ISP router. Show IP interface. Show IP interface with all interfaces are being 1.1.1.1. It's working fine. So there is no restriction. Communicate with the server. So review our configuration. Okay. Net we have done. Just check this one. LAN to WAN, IPv4. Security zone is LAN. Destination zone is WAN. All source and destination will be permitted. Translated packet Ethernet 1 by 1 ISP1. That means paired configuration already done. Oh, why not make commit? Commit is pending. Configuration done, but commit pending.
I faced this issue in a production environment during configuring a Juniper switch. We are not getting ping because of only the commit command. We're using commit recheck, not the commit.
Okay. So configuration is committed, then check again. Yes, getting it's working. Okay. See here, I want to customize this rule. I want to customize this rule like this server one checking their SSH service is here or not. Sure. IP SSH. Yes, SSH service is here. Show running config. Um, so says IP HTTP server. SSH is enabled. HTTP server is enabled. And should be telnet also enabled. So user is Cisco and password is Cisco. So I just sending packet telnet. Telnet and IP is 1.1.1. Cisco and password is Cisco. So if you want enable only SSH minus L, user is Cisco and IP is 1.1. IP is 1.1. Need to wait a minute. Connection refuse. Why? SSH SSH should be what? SSH minus L user Cisco IP is 1.1.1.1. Getting problem in server. SSH is not working. Transport all. IP SSH. Everything is okay. Crypto. Yeah. Okay, let's check telnet. No issue. I want to check the specific application. So telnet is working, right? Cisco. Telnet is working. Ping ICMP is working. And telnet port number 80. This is also working. Open. Okay. Then 22, 20 is not working. Okay. Just you want to customize this one. In security policy, you want to deny the telnet services. You want to deny the telnet services. This policy allowed everything. This policy allowed everything. If you want to deny something, so you have to create policy above this rule. Create policy, specific rule will be the top. So create this one. You just security, or you can set block telnet. Source is LAN and destination is WAN application. Add this is the application. Okay. So in application section, there will be telnet application. You can specify the service. You can specify the port. Okay, that is telnet. This is TCP port. You can specify the port number. Okay. Also, you can specify the telnet. That means telnet application is already selected. Okay, telnet application already selected. Okay, in service section, this is default setting, and action will be the deny. Telnet application will be denied. So this is the more specific. In this specific portion, only telnet, only telnet will be the deny. So we need to move this policy above. So move up. Yes, this policy is first, then this policy. Because we need to deny first, specific. If all allow, if block telnet policy after the LAN 1 security, that will not work. Okay, that's why more specific policy was is a block telnet policy. This is in first position, and this is the general policy. So make the commit. So now telnet will be blocked. Send the ICMP. Send ICMP. ICMP is working. Telnet default not working. Telnet 1.1 is not working. But port open. Port is open, but this is not working because of security policy. Because of security policy. So we check here how to create the policy, how to create the specific policy which you want, and how to organize this policy. How to organize this policy. Okay, that is important. So okay, so we have done 2.8 section, that is the security rule types. There is 3 security rule types. We're just implementing these 3 rule types. This is universal, intra-zone, and inter-zone. And the 2.8 section, how to configure the security policy with mesh condition, actions, and logging options. That is also discussed. So see here, this is the default to implicit rule, and this policy is user defined, and the user defined policy type is universal, and universal policy is depend on production requirement. You will um, make this one, like say the example one. um, this is universal role, and specific zone is user zone, another zone is internet zone. A specific application like Dropbox Skype, that will be allowed or denied. You can set the application like telnet. You can set the application. I also share here how to select the application. How to select the application. If you want to select another application, go and add the application. Like application is HTTP, HTTP, And application in HTTP, there is multiple option. There is multiple option. HTTP audio, HTTP proxy, uh, HTTP port, multiple option. So you have to decide which option will be permit or which option will be the block. Okay. So you can also select like Dropbox. Just this very simple. Click, go to the application section and search Skype Dropbox like this. Is Skype. See here, Skype. So Skype is here. There is two options, Skype and Skype Pro. If you want to add Dropbox, yes, Dropbox is coming. Dropbox, BOX, Dropbox. If you want to add WhatsApp, yes, WhatsApp, yes, WhatsApp is coming. If you want to Facebook, ebook, sorry, Facebook, we download ebook. F is not here. Yes, Facebook. Facebook have multiple options. If you want to block the Facebook apps, login plugin, posting, individual, Facebook voice, Facebook message, Facebook chat. If you want to block the Facebook voice and video or like video, then other will be work. You can log in the Facebook and post and share, but you will not see the video. So there is multiple option. So you set this option based on your requirement, your industry requirement or production requirement. Okay. And there is this one. Telnet is the sample. Okay. Shadow. So this is done. It's done. That is the section done. 2.8 and 2.9. Both are
I have a
regarding
question.
security policy. Yeah.
Yeah, let's we have a public IP address in the one interface and the LAN interface also. And
Uh,
there is a VPN server in the LAN interface or
uh,
in the LAN portion. So we know when the government like agencies blocks Facebook and other things, if
mhm.
we try to connect to the Facebook server using the VPN, is it possible to log from the Palo Alto? We
Just
have we have a VPN server inside in the inside area. That means in the LAN area.
you are asking, this is your PC and
Yes.
you are this box,
It's
Facebook
a normal
block.
Palo Alto, normal Palo Alto device, and there
Uh-huh,
is a public IP in the Ether 1/1 and 1/2,
uh-huh,
and
okay.
a VPN server like maybe PC4 is the my VPN server,
Uh-huh,
which have a public IP address.
uh-huh,
So I assume that the Palo Alto is used to block the Facebook traffic.
uh-huh,
Now, if I want to connect to the Facebook server using VPN or something like Tor, is it possible
uh-huh.
to connect to the VPN server? Sorry, Facebook
Okay.
server.
Actually, when you deploy VPN server on premises, so that should be in DMG, number one. That would be your VPN server. that may be public IP addresses or private IP addresses. Consider public addresses based on your question. Okay.
Okay.
If you send a request, and that is called the remote user or home user. User is going back to office and reconnecting the organization network to work something from home. So sending request to VPN server. VPN server, they are authenticated. VPN server is connected with them, and if this VPN server have permission, that means Facebook or any other application, if this IP or this block is permitted in firewall, they will can access. They will access those server. If this
Well,
IP will not
this is the
permitted,
use case of enterprise environment. But
mhm.
I'm willing to know about the use case of the government agency, how they block the social media like Facebook,
Mhm.
Telegram. So
Mhm.
we considering that's not the we are not using the VPN server for
Okay, if a
connect.
government agency like DOT or NTMC, they can connect a server, or this enterprise connect a server. This connected interface will be the type interface. If this incoming and outgoing, that will be Ethernet 1 by 2, or that will be Ethernet 1 by 3. If I send the type interface to the server, or if I send the net flow traffic to the server, and this server will collecting every log and showing, and
And based on
uh,
the log, it
uh,
will be blocked or something like
uh,
that.
no, based on log, they will see what happened. Okay, if you want
Cannot
to
block the
block
traffic.
something or allow something, you have to create rule.
Okay. Okay. So if we have if we use browser like Tor browser, then we know the Tor browser encrypts data. So is it
Mhm.
possible to visualize this encrypted data or block using the firewall?
Tor browser is this is the special case. So in special case, or and if this PC is connecting a remote VPN server, and they can access everything. So this is exceptional case, not the regular case.
So
Okay.
in this case, you're
Mm,
explaining that we can block Facebook like or Facebook video options.
mm,
So in this case,
mhm.
any user inside our LAN can connect to a external VPN
In
server.
in that case, we have to block here VPN all port,
Okay.
which will be
We
used. If I block VPN all port here, this user can't make any VPN with the remote server.
definitely have to
That
also
will
block the
work.
VPN.
Yes, of course.
Okay. I got it. I got that. Got it.
Hmm. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So our section 2.10, 2.10 section is this is the net. This is about net, network address translation. Okay. So how to create net policy to translate private address to public address. So this is very simple. So we need more policy. We just create here one example policy that uh, that allow LAN to WAN traffic. That allows LAN to WAN traffic. We need more policy that will be allowed LAN to DMG, DMG to LAN, or DMG to WAN, or WAN to DMG. There's need more policy. Okay. So if you create the policy over there, like PC1 are just checking sending packet from PC1 to server 11 or server 12, that will not work, right? Because there is no policy, right? Am I right? So IP interface, wait. IP is this one. If I send packet from PC1, that is going from LAN to DMG. That is going from LAN to DMG. That will not work because there is no policy. So we create policy and policy is LAN to DMG, LAN to DMG, rule type is universal, source zone is LAN, and destination zone is, destination zone is DMG. Destination zone is DMG. So application. See here application. DMG zone, there is your server farm. There is multiple application, multiple services here in your organization. That will be a private cloud. So that will be a data center. So you have to permit specific. You have to permit only specific services. Only permitted specific services, not all services. If you consider this PC1 is the administrator, you can take a policy, you can set a policy for this PC1. For PC1, everything is allowed, but other user will not be allowed everything. Okay, so I consider here there is two subnets, subnet 101 and subnet 102. I allow this is a server. So if I say first create the default, then go in the specific option. Service all, application all, action is allow, log, it's okay. This policy in position is 2. Position is 2. This is more specific. So this is in top row. So this position is okay. So commit. If your application is running through HTTP or HTTPS, that may be DNS. So you are allowing those service, those port or those application, not allow everything. Just checking this one. That is configuration is or configuration has done. Checking the connectivity PC1 to PC1 to server 1. PC1 to server 1. It's working, right? I can send the ICMP packet. I can send the telnet packet if telnet enabled. Cisco and Cisco telnet enabled. Telnet is working, and if I send SSH packet, SSH -L user Cisco, maybe not working or working. Yes, it's working. SSH is working also. If I check the HTTP service, that means 80, that should be telnet 80, and this HTTP also open. Consider here, this server is the HTTP server. Consider. So you need some you need to allow only HTTP applications, HTTP applications. No need to allow everything. So how to customize this policy? How to customize this policy? LAN DMG. This is your source and this is your destination. Destination, you can specify the destination address. So more important is the application, which application will be allowed. So application will be allowed here only HTTP. You can set HTTP. You can set all over this one, or I there is multiple option. So I want to block only 8 people. That's why not setting any application, just go to the service section. Add service HTTP. Service HTTP by default. Default they are created. Also, you can go the service section. You can also specify the port number. Only renowned number will be here, like SSAs. SSAs, no, no. Service HTTP, or you can also set, you can also set here like HTTP port 80. Description, you can set a description. The 80 port is in TCP and destination port is 80. Source port will be any, and just create one. Yes, HTTP 80 is coming here. So these are only allowed. These are only allowed. So other traffic will be automatically denied. So go to the object section, see the applications or service groups. This is the service and this is the service groups. So there is no service groups, only service is here. In service HTTP, this is predefined service, and this is in a TCP and port is 80 and 8080. This two port is assigned in service HTTP. Service HTTPS port is 443, and this is the customized service. Customized service, this is the TCP protocol and port number is 80. So go to the policy section, click the LAN to DMG, go to the service. You can remove this one, only set this one, only 80. Only 80 will be allowed. Other like telnet, SSH, ICMP will be blocked when traffic passing from LAN to DMG. LAN to DMG. Okay, then customize this one, then press the commit button and commit. Was this one? Check now. Traffic is permitted or not. Only 80. 80 is open. Fine. And send the ICMP. ICMP is not working. ICMP is not working. So our role is working, right? If you send the telnet packet, telnet is not working, but HTTP is working because of your role. you will specify which should be allowed. Okay. In application, you can specify the application. In service section, you can specify the service section. Service, you can, if you want to make application groups, you can do application. There is multiple application here. Okay, this is the application name. You can set application groups. Like you just create application group is HTTP, HTTPS, DNS. This will be in a group. So make the group. Same way, you can set the service, you can configure the service groups. Service groups will be collection of services. Application groups is collections of applications. Okay, you can also add, tell address and address groups. Multiple addresses will be make address groups. Okay, go to the policy. You can customize your policy. So if you need any policy that is DMG to LAN or DMG to WAN, you can create, right? Can you create policy? If need any traffic allow to DMG to WAN or WAN to DMG, you can create, right? Can you create?
Yes.
Yes, that is simple. Okay. Then go to NAT section. Then we'll go now in NAT section. There is three types of NAT here. There is three types of NAT here. Number one, go to the NAT section. This is one type NAT. This is called the PAT. PAT, when you PAT, the source zone is LAN, destination zone is WAN. Destination interface, you can specify from here. Destination interface, you can specify. Destination for our lab, destination interface is Ethernet 1x1, and you can also set the services. No need. In NAT section, no need this one, an interface, and we specify the interfaces here. So interface address and selecting the interface and the interface IP address. This is basically the interface IP is 1.1.2, all IP translated to 1.2, all private IP translated to 1.2. This type of NAT is called the PAN, port address translation. And Palo Alto, this translation type is dynamic IP and port. Dynamic IP and port. If I select here, or if I remove this one, just remove this one, commit. Now checking packet from PC1 to server1, enable, so IP interface break. IP is 1.1. And sending packet from PC1, that will not work because of NAT. See here, send ping, that will same, that will not work. PC1, PC2, and PC3. Enable ping 1, that will not work also. Enable ping 1. No one will work because of NAT. So first, we will test the static net. We'll test the static net. Static net. Static net. Static net. So you have to mention the name, original packet. You have to mention the source zone. Source zone is LAN. Destination zone is WAN. You can specify the source address. You can specify the source address and specify the translated packet, source address translation. So translation will be two types. Number one is source address translation. Number two is destination address translation. In Cisco, one is called the inside net, that is source address translation, and another one is outside net, that is called the destination address translation. So first we focus on source address translation. In source address translation, there is three types. Number one is static. So you can specify the translated address. You can specify the translated address. So you can set the IP address. You can set the IP address, or you can specify the IP address here. That will be the public address. That will be the public address. That will be maybe if you just consider this is the static net. So translation will be one to one. One private address will be translated to one public address. Okay. So see here, and this is the ISP router. We just list net IP address from ISP. See here, the ISP router, we take here one IP address. So IP route. So running config section IP route. See here, 2.100, this IP address is route towards to Palo Alto. This is a single IP, that means /32, and the gateway is this one. So I take this IP for static net. I take this IP from ISP to make the static net. So copy this one. So this IP is, you can specify here, IP is 209.165.2.100. You can specify the name, IP address, or you can specify this IP address in object section. In object section, okay. So or static net created, I comment this one, we'll get error. See, this is the error.
Is there?
Why we get error? Error is net rule is static net, mismatch of static IP, source translation address range between original address and translated address. So for static net, we need two IP address. One is from LAN side, another IP is translated address, or those are taken from ISP. Okay, so this mapping will be one-to-one. We specify only translated address, but yet not specify the source address. Okay, this is the reason of error. We not specify the source address. Source address will be one because your translated address is single, one. So you have to specify the single IP address here, which private IP address will be translated. So set here, you can create address, or you can specify the IP. Like example IP is 172.16.101 192.168.1.1.101. Consider this IP is the source IP and translated IP will be this. So, okay. Now I try to commit. Configuration committed successfully. So checking it's working or not. Only PC1 can access server 1, but other will not work. It's work, but if you send packet to PC2, this is not work. From PC3, this is not work. PC4, this is not work. Because only PC1 source address is translated with the public address which is given from ISP. So this is the static net. Clear? Static net.
Yeah.
Then go to another type. The type is we're creating the another policy. The net type is dynamic. The type is dynamic. Say here dynamic net. DY dynamic net. Original packet coming from LAN destined to 1. You have to specify for dynamic net. You have to specify the subnet. I specify here 172.168.102.0/24. This subnet is the source and translated packet dynamic IP. You have to specify the address here. So see the ISP assignment public IP address 3.0 is routed towards the Palo Alto device. So this is the /24. That means 209.168.3.0. So translated address I add here 209.165.3.0/24. See here, the subnet is 24 and source subnet is 24. That means 1-to-1 mapping, but it will be dynamic. It will be dynamic. Static is fixed, but dynamic net source address dynamically take the public address and translate to those address and go to the internet. Okay. Then commit. This is the dynamic net. Commit. So in dynamic net, we are just adding VLAN 2 subnet. So VLAN 2 subnet to PC, that is PC3 and PC4 can send packet to server 1, but PC2 will not work. PC1 will work for static net, but PC2 will not work. Okay, checking. PC1 is working, PC1 working. I disable this one. If I disable this one, this role is disabled now. Then commit. So now only single policy, and single policy only allowed source address is 102. If I send packet from PC1 will not work, from PC2 will not work, but PC3 will work. Yes. PC4 work. Yes, working. So this is the dynamic net. Last one, is last one is PAT, port address translation. Okay, enable this one and creating another type. Type is PAT. PAT original packet coming from LAN destined to one. No need to specify the source address because we are using the PAT now. So translated packet, select dynamic IP and port. You can set single IP here. You can set single IP here in translated address, or you can use interface address. So I already show you how to use the interface address. Now I show you the translated address here. In translated address, we are just we use in ISP1, which is provided 2.200 to 2.100. So add this address 209.165.2.100. Single IP. Single IP. So all 4 PC will translate with a single IP. That is called the PAT, port address translation. That is called the port address translation. That's okay. I disable the static NAT. I disable the dynamic NAT. Only PAT is here. Okay. Then commit. Commit is not working. What is this? Subsenders. Commit. Yes, commit is coming. Configuration committed successfully. Double commit is coming here because of multiple click. You can see this one. Okay, the configuration is committed and only PAT is here. If you check from PC1 to PC4, all will work. 1.1.1 is not working. Why? Is it any reason? PC3, no one work. Alright. So check the PAT configuration. Original packet, LAN 1, source any, destination any, translated packet, 2.100, translated address, 2.100, and translated address 2.100. Yes, it seems okay, but it's not working. So okay, changing from IP to interface, dynamic IP and port, interface address. Interface is Ethernet 1x1 and IP is SP1. Okay. Then check commit. Configuration committed. Then check. Yes, it's working. Yes, it's working. PC3. Yes. PC4. Yes. All are working. All are working. Okay. So that is three type of source net we have done. Three type of source net. So in next class, there is a destination address translation option. We'll discuss already 5 to 6. So tomorrow we'll discuss destination net or port forwarding. Okay. So that's all for today. Thank you very much.